Thank you. Hello, Cambridge. How are we all?
Good.
A few of you are good. Some of you are just silent. I can live with that. I'm not from Cambridge. I've come all the way from Canterbury to see you all tonight. Yeah, I thought that was fairly impressive. What with the weather? It took me nearly 7 hours to get here. It was not fun. But I love Cambridge. Like I say, Canterbury and Cambridge, I think they're two very similar places. They both begin with a letter C. They both got a lot of colleges and cathedrals in them, and most of the people are either students, normal people, or that Venn diagram middle section of weird people. We have a woman who walks around Canterbury dressed in a dress made up of tartan and spoons, which is great because you can always hear her coming. What I usually do, I like to point out I'm a student and I do this actually as part of my course. And so I've got to write down everything I do, how good you guys are, how good I am. I like to know which way it's going at the moment. So far, it's leaning towards you guys. You're great. But on the way here, I wrote a sort of journal entry because I was getting very bored on the bus, and I want to read it to you just so you can get a glimpse of how terrible my journey was. I know it's cheap. I'm reading from paper, but you know I'm first, so I don't have time to learn it. 7 hours is not long enough to remember all that, but I'll try my best. Tell you what, now it's gone. I typed this entry on a National Express coach from London Victoria to Cambridge. I say a coach, as the one I was booked on to departed London punctually at 11:30 a.m, the precise moment at which the coach taking me from Canterbury to London entered the confines of the M25, a good half an hour still from our destination. There was much panic upon arrival in Victoria coach station, however, as I realised that my bank balance, as a poor student, was so low that at this point I could not afford to buy a new ticket to replace the non-transferable cheaper one I had booked in advance a little over a month ago. Foolish me not to have predicted the earliest snowfall in Britain in 17 years. I was forced to phone for parental assistance, which was thankfully delivered and accepted with efficient speed, a mild dint to my burgeoning independence, and another addition to the eventual emotional and financial blackmail I can expect from my parents in later life. With only a mild delay, the coach from London sets off, and as I ride it has passed the headquarters of the London Fire Brigade, the old Battersea Power Station, and currently sits navigating roundabout opposite the Palace of Westminster, which my phone's Google Map application tells me is fairly good time made. As you'll see in a second, this doesn't last particularly long. It's now nearly an hour into our journey, and we are still within the boundaries of the City of London. Google Maps has told me we have travelled a little over 5.5 miles as we pass London Royal Hospital, giving this coach an average speed of 5 miles an hour, and my brain the mental arithmetic capabilities of a preschooler. It is becoming clearer every time I glance at the illuminated clock at the front of the bus that the social aspect of my visit to Cambridge is dwindling in length. A shame. It occurs to me how long it's been since I last made this exact journey to Cambridge. I estimate almost 5 years, which for a city that holds almost as great an affection in my heart as London and Canterbury seems somehow perverse. I'm showing you love. Give them an oar, please. I love you guys. My brain's use of the word perverse seems somewhat apt at this point. A woman makes the journey to the back of the bus to use the toilet that is located next to my seat. I chose this seat voluntarily, deciding a sacrifice of hygiene worth the additional leg and arm room that allows me to type this entry. She spends several minutes attempting to wrestle the door into a locked position, but unsuccessfully, and she is resigned to the undignified task of completing her call of nature, with one arm busy holding the door shut to maintain privacy. While she is making use of the facilities, we have stopped to pick up more passengers. A short man of Eastern descent makes his way to the seat in front of mine and sits momentarily to deposit his belongings on the chair before standing and trying the door to the toilet. I look up, too late to warn him, as the door opens and the occupant is revealed to the entire bus, trousers around her ankles, but thankfully more clothes than could have been mere moments previously. After a barrage of shrieks met by flustered apology, the man sits down and awaits his turn patiently. Once the lady is finished, she exits and makes her way back to her seat, but not before she shoots the man a look of disgust and slight suspicion, as though his intrusion was somehow so far premeditated as to have been concocted even before he had boarded the vehicle. Although had this been the case, his timing for the final reveal was deeply lacking. My thoughts of how unfair this accusation is are justified seconds later as the would-be pervert enters the laboratory himself, closes the door, and locks it in one swift practiced motion. As I type, a second young lady has also completed the arduous task of locking this previously mischievous door, confirming my final suspicion of woman A as someone who perhaps enjoys the thrill of being caught in the toilet facilities of public transport. I hastily scribble a note to myself to check Google for a website corroborating the existence of this type of person as soon as I am within range of an internet connection. There is such a website. The bus pulls away and heads into the steadily darkening afternoon, and I wish nothing more than to get to Cambridge as soon as possible. For should the need arise, I have no faith in my own ability to lock the toilet door. So that was my journey from here, from London to here to be with you all. Thank you very much. I've been Richard Stewart. Good night.